let's first talk about framework, because if we move
Framework?
it to
Okay,
the end,
fine.
very few people anyway listen till the end. And framework, I think, deserves to get a bit of the highlight for what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing as a company in itself. They've been already at it since 5 years, creating repairable products and more focused on laptops. And now they've launched their first desktop as well. And they've also launched their new touchscreen laptops, lots of new things
Has it
to be
really been
excited
five
about.
years though? I
Yeah, apparently it has been.
oh
So yeah, although they don't launch their products in India, I mean, we, at least the podcast has a wide listener base outside of India as well. So it probably makes sense to discuss about this. So without any further ado, let's talk about their new desktop, because it's pretty interesting. Uh, Maybe if Gautam can pull up their website, because
yeah, I
you
have
may
it
need
open.
some virtual cues. This is obviously it's a desktop, but it also comes with the framework.
The
Framework,
framework brand
uh,
identity.
trademark, yeah,
Yeah.
brand identity, trademark of having customizability. So you get modular front IO, so you can decide what ports you want in the front as your IO. So that's pretty good. If you want like a headphone jack, you can have that there. You want USB A, USB C, you can decide all of those, and you can buy individual ports and port modules from their website. So that's obviously a huge thing. And you also get a new customizable front panel. So the front panel, um, if you had the front panel here, it has all the smiley face and all of those, the gaming controller, for example. So you can customize that. And if you don't like the preset, whatever they're selling pre-built
As
on their
default,
website,
yeah.
they'll also make the 3D printed files available so that you can customize and print your own things. So that's really cool. It's something new in the industry, probably. The processor here is very interesting. It's the new AMD Strix Halo processor, and this processor is special because it comes with an integrated GPU within the chip. So that's pretty interesting. And this GPU has a performance similar to the RTX 4060. So that's like a huge thing. And the other interesting thing is that almost 96 GB of the 128 GB RAM, maximum 128 GB RAM, can be allocated to the GPU. So if you're doing like really powerful tasks like running AI models or hardcore gaming, but I mean, for gaming it's obviously overkill. But like if you're running AI models and stuff, like even Linus pointed out that the top model configured with 128 GB of RAM will mostly be bought by developers to run AI models, and that's what even the brand is predicting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's an interesting thing. One thing though is that the system memory cannot be upgraded, and that's very unlikely from the brand identity. But they have
They had
spoken
no
with
other
AMD.
option.
Yeah, the AMD said that it's very difficult to add upgradable RAM sticks because it doesn't work with the network. They have some challenges with the chip, so unfortunately that won't be possible. And uh, that's the only downgrade. But and this is like a really small case. If you see, it's a 4.5 liter case. It's really compact for what it is. And another interesting thing is the handle on top. I think the base ones, or I don't know whatever was showcased on Linus Tech Tips channel, that didn't come with. Oh, that came with it probably. My bad.
Yeah, it came with it.
Um, yeah, so that handle is not just a handle. It's basically also a tool which you can use to open up the case. So you
Yeah,
just
around
um,
this these two
turn
screws you can have a handle.
Yeah, so you just turn the handle and it opens up the case. You can have your upgrades. You get a Noctua or a Cooler Master fan inside, and they also have some other small features, like it's easier to get into the fan socket or whatever if you have big fingers. They've thought about those small things like that as well. The behind ports include four display port outputs, and even there's a 5 gigahertz networking port from what Linus said in his video. I didn't verify. I mean, I trust him obviously. So yeah, overall, this looks like a really solid first desktop from Framework, and keeping upgradability in mind, this is definitely a really good product with the AMD chip with the Strix Halo processor, which is seen in very few products. The only other products that come with this chip is a Asus gaming tablet and an HP laptop, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it's good to see that Framework is able to get all these latest chips in their products.
Yeah, I agree with that. The portability is a big aspect. Like it's like an ATX case, maybe smaller than that kind of size. The replaceable front IO is also useful for, like I said, the if you don't want to put your mouse dongle in the back or your accessories in the back, you like to keep it in the front. That's really nice. And overall, I would say this is a good product. Pricing is what matters, but I would definitely see it. Uh, I would say this kind of gives me Mac Mini vibes, but like the Windows version of Mac Mini. Obviously, it can game, and the Mac Mini cannot game. Anyways, let's not uh, stay on that topic for too long. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Framework Laptop
Yep.
12.
Laptop 12 is an interesting product. It's going to be a budget product from Framework, and it's a convertible two-in-one laptop with a touchscreen. And they also come in 5 new cool colors. And it's built of plastic, but it's a very durable. They've made it durable by adding TPU, but that it doesn't have issues as such. One thing that's a downside, which I really didn't like about this, was the bezels, and the bezels are huge, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like really sticky to the eye. I somehow didn't like it when I saw it, but yeah, it's a budget product, and considering that it'll be mostly put in schools or it's given to kids, it's fine, I guess. But yeah, the next thing is the color match stylus and screwdriver. So you get a color match stylus along with the laptop and also a screwdriver because it's an upgradable laptop. If you need to open it up, they give you a screwdriver as well. So that's pretty cool. Another thing, since I talked about it being in schools, these laptops come with removable port slots and things like that, so that children don't like randomly take out the port slots and then maybe fire
Yeah,
it
it
at
has
each other
locks and
or do
stuff.
anything stupid. They've added a child safety lock, so if you just turn that lock on, the you can't remove the port that easily, and then if you
Mm-hmm.
want to upgrade it anyway, you just need to turn off that lock. So that's really innovative thing. And I mean, it's these small things that most brands don't think about, especially if it's like they have if any other brand had this removable port feature, they probably wouldn't have thought about the child lock. The other upgrade is that the keyboard is now connected to the motherboard via pogo pins instead of a ribbon connector, so it makes it a lot easier to remove the keyboard and get access to the insides compared to the ribbon connector, where
Mm-hmm.
if you pull it, you have chances of the ribbon connector breaking and things like that. So that's another thing. Small things like these that the brand thinks about. All and Linus is also saying that it probably takes them more money to manufacture these pogo pin style thing for the
Yeah, yeah.
keyboard, uh, but yeah, they're still doing it. And there's also a toolless SSD holder. Generally, SSD holders need a screwdriver, and it's connected via a screw, but this one has a latch instead, so that's also a good thing for easier upgrades. I didn't talk about the processor in this. Since this is a budget laptop and the price is expected to be under $1,000, this will probably come with the Core i3 1215U processor or 1334U processor. So these are not like the super latest or any of those, but considering that budget laptops generally get the Intel Celeron chips and things
Yeah.
like that, this is any day better than that. So that is that. And last but not the least, in this laptop is it gets a 50 watt hour battery. So I think battery life should be decent. um, yeah, those are the that specs of the Framework 12. I think if it's under $1,000, it's kind of worth it for what it has to offer, and considering the upgradability as well.
Yeah, I would still say like if it was a if it is above $750, it would be not so value for money just from a spec sheet perspective. So hopefully they don't disappoint with the price. Um, it does feel nice for schools and stuff. Obviously, the repairability would be a good aspect, and they also have an option for volume purchase buyers. So that's that. One thing I didn't like is Linus mentioned that the greatest feature of this is its colors. I don't see how colors is a feature, but yeah, that kind of annoyed me. But yeah, apart from that, the i3 chip is also underpowered. If you are paying nearly $1,000 for a laptop and you're getting an i3 chip, I kind of find it as robbery. Then one more thing is it does not have two slots for the RAM. It is running only on single channel RAM. So know that, but yeah, some cost cutting has to be done. Also, the body now uses some kind of plastic instead of metal to cut down on costs. But the way they have done it is they have reinforced the body with metal so that it does not feel cheap, and they are also able to maintain the cost. Overall, seems like a decent product. Would love if other brands are able to kind of somehow come up with similar concepts along with the repairability aspect of it. And the framework laptop 13 now comes with a touchscreen. It's going to come with
No,
touchscreen,
no,
and it
no, it
wait, does it
doesn't
not
come with
come?
touchscreen.
Is it only the
No,
framework
that
laptop 12?
yeah, that's the only laptop that comes with the
Oh,
touchscreen, and that's what Linus made a joke of, that the framework 13 finally comes with the most popular feature everyone was expecting, touchscreen, but it's not that.
yeah, it's the
It is
Copilot
the
button.
Copilot button on the keyboard.
Yeah, the Copilot button is
And
there, and you can configure it with no Windows button if you want that
yeah,
for some reason. Yeah, but the major thing is
that's
it
for the
has
Linux
Ryzen.
users.
Yeah, Ryzen
That's for
9
the Linux
support
users.
is there for this generation of Ryzen 9 processors. So if you want to get that power up, you can get that.
And
One
the other
inter
thing is that
Yeah,
this motherboard is they've changed it up a bit. They've, instead of having two heat pipes, they've just made one heat pipe. And even though they've made this motherboard is still compatible with the
the
older
older
frame note
laptops. Yeah,
laptops all the way back to the first one that they've launched. So, which was almost 5 years ago, which is insane that you bought a laptop 5 years ago and you can buy an entire new motherboard for it, and then you can just replace it, and you don't. I mean, you just have to pay the cost for that motherboard, and you get the latest chip with it. So
mm-hmm.
that's the kind of impact framework is creating. And there's also some news about framework having the new RISC-V um, chips also supported, which
Mm-hmm.
is gaining popularity a bit, and all of those things as well. So
One thing I just noticed recently is how much of a chokehold Dell has over the enterprise, especially when it comes to colleges or schools. The enterprise whole
mhm.
thing is just Dell. Everything is Dell. The mouse is Dell. The keyboard is Dell. The monitor is
Yeah,
Dell. The PCs are Dell. If other brands can hop onto the same trend, then it would be really interesting to see what they can do. And maybe this is a place which can be advantageous for framework because framework has the repairability thing going for it. So a lot of schools would
it
prefer
can
to
be
use that.
recurring revenue for them also.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something they can probably check out. I don't know, up to them.
Thanks for watching the clip till the end. If you want to watch more clips from the main podcast, then don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to listen to the entire episode, then you can go check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, whichever app you use. The link will be in the description below. And YouTube thinks this video right here will be the best one for you to watch next. So click here and I'll meet you there.